I left for a few weeks and you're already with her? How could you, Marco? How could you do this to me? I thought you said you loved me. I left for a few weeks and you're already.
Mma, you weren't supposed to remove the bead until the right time. What did you see? Her mother asked. I was just curious to know. All these years, Mommy Ojugo never allowed me to take my bead off for fear of me misplacing it. She thought it was a gift my mother had given me, and as such, it should be with me at all times. But I guess she was right all this while, Ma said. Really? She must be a very good woman, her mother replied. Yes, she is. How long do I have to stay here, mother? Mma asked. For as long as it takes to control your powers, she replied. Mma was introduced to her sister Ifedi and her brother Unzube. Mma started training to get used to her powers, and within time she was doing well. And she would often hear voices speaking to her. One night, Mma dreamt of a woman holding a knife towards her neck, ready to cut through, and then she woke up. I must prepare for the battle ahead, Mma said. After some time with her real parents, Mma left to visit Prince Makwo. Around the time Mma left the village, Uloma saw this as a perfect opportunity to swoon in and take Makwo for herself. One sunny day, she wore her best attire and was on her way to the palace. Few minutes before she reached the palace, she was bitten by a snake. She screamed for help, and not long after, people came to her rescue. They helped her and told her to tell them the direction of her home, and she pointed towards the palace. People who lived around had never seen her before, but they still took her there because she needed immediate treatment. On getting there, she asked the maid to fetch Prince Makwo, and when he came, he was surprised to see Uloma. What are you doing here, and what happened to you? He asked. My prince, she was bitten by a snake, answered one of the people that brought her. Makwo was not happy about this, but he could not send her back as she was injured. So he asked for a doctor to be brought, and when he came, he treated her and gave her some medications for her recovery. Uloma slept for a long time and woke up in the evening. The maids brought her food. Then she asked if Prince Makwo was at home, and they replied no. So she ate and took her medicine and slept, only to wake up the next morning to think of ways to achieve her mission in the palace. Makwo missed Mma so much, and he wished he had her in his arms. He missed everything about her, how she always laughed when he said something funny, how she was always happy when she saw food. There was no dull moment with her. As he reminisced about her, a rare smile stretched on his face. The next morning, Makwo decided to check on Uloma to see how she was faring. He saw that she was up already. They exchanged greetings and soon her breakfast was brought. Uloma began to act as if she was really sick. She then told Makwo to spoon-feed her. Makwo looked at her as if she had grown two heads. She went on and told him that her hand felt heavy and she couldn't lift the spoon to her mouth. Makwo thought about calling the maids, but he didn't want her to trouble them. He knew he could handle her, so he took the food and started to feed her. She had eaten over half of the food when a gasp was heard. He turned and saw Uma, a disappointed look on her face. He immediately dropped the food and went after her.
I left for a few weeks and you're already with her? How could you, Marco? How could you do this to me? I thought you said you loved me.
No, Mma, please don't conclude because of what you saw. Let me explain everything to you.
He explained everything to her, and because he had never given her a reason not to believe him, she accepted his explanation and told him to stay away from Uloma. Mma told him everything that had happened during her stay in her village and what she had found out. Makwa wasn't surprised because he had always thought Mma to be a special maiden. They spent some time together and she returned to her parents' house in the village. And there she stayed with them for a few days. Then, one morning, everywhere just turned dark, with so many vultures flying in the sky, with heavy thunderstorms, just like in her vision. Uma knew that this was a bad sign. After making sure her family was okay, she then went to Makwo to check on him, amidst the unfriendly weather. When she got there, Makwo hugged her while breathing in her scent because he was so worried about her, and that made his heart beat faster than usual. She asked how they were and told him that she was going back to meet with her parents because she sensed danger and that she would need the help of her mother to know the next move to take. And Makwo said that he would accompany her. The offer was tempting. She could really use the help, and she would feel safer when she was around him. But she didn't want to take him away from his family. So she refused, but Makwo hushed her lips with his fingers.
Say no more, my queen. I'm going with you and that's fine now. You don't have to bother too much. Arinze is here to look after everything.
Happiness filled her chest as she hugged him and then gave him a kiss on the lips. Makwo was shocked since they had never shared a lip kiss before. He only gave her forehead kisses while waiting for her to be ready. And when she gave him that kiss, he knew he had done something that she really liked. They packed some dry meat and some clean drinking water and they left the palace. The journey took them days due to how dark everywhere was. They finally reached her parents' place. Her mother told her to go to her room and seek guidance from her chi, and that only them had the guidance she needed. Everyone was advised to stay indoors due to the chaotic weather. Mma stayed in her room for a few hours when a vision came to her. She was directed to a strange place filled with golden pots hanging in the air. She is expected to journey and retrieve one to cleanse the evil in the land. She left immediately to inform her parents. And again, Makwo wanted to go with her. She was about to object when Makwo kissed her, seizing all words from leaving her mouth. She was so flushed and embarrassed that he had kissed her in front of her parents. They began their journey with the evil queen Azuka, fighting them and casting evil spells to stop them. Azuka, an evil queen who killed her husband and took his throne through the use of dark magic. She did countless rituals just so she could become powerful. But as she did, the witch that gave her powerful potions demanded for more and more sacrifices in exchange for power. She killed her two siblings because she was told their blood would give her greater powers. After a few years of her evil reign, and Azuka wanting to subdue every living thing around, she was told by the witch that a child would be born and that child would be her downfall. This made her furious and she resorted to using all her charms and spells to make young children die and the pregnant women miscarried. That period was known as a period of tears and blood. But Mma survived because she had the gift of her ancestors and she had already been chosen before Azuka even became queen. That was why her parents took her far away for her safety. Mma and Makwo traveled and soon reached the magical land where no darkness was, and soon they found the tree where the golden pot was. She gently stretched her hands and took one, and then a loud voice spoke, saying,
You must prove yourself worthy before this cleansing water works its purpose.
Mma and Makwo didn't know what was happening, but they continued their journey home. Back in the forest, Makwo fell to the ground, screaming and holding his head as he cried in pain. Mma was lost. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't put the pot on the ground, and she couldn't hold it with one hand either. Tears fell from her eyes as she watched the one she loved cry in pain. She couldn't bear to see him in pain, so she suddenly let go of the pot and held onto Makwo to know how to help him. And then it was like magic. Makwo was okay. He no longer felt pain anywhere, and that was when the voice spoke again.
Congratulations, you have passed the test. The bearer of this cleansing pot must be of pure heart and a courageous spirit.
Then Mma noticed the pot hanging in the air. The pot by its nature cannot touch the ground, and when it's forced to, it will shatter into pieces. They smiled at each other and were on their way home. While they journeyed back home, Makwa's mind was filled with so much love. He couldn't believe that she wanted to save him at the detriment of others. The feeling of admiration filled his heart that he couldn't believe it was possible to feel so much love for one person. They soon got to the village, and then Mma's eyes sparkled like the sun itself, and she walked straight to the center of the village where there was a big iroko tree, and then she smashed the pot. Immediately, the light was restored.
Stop! Stop! What's happening to me? Ah! Ah! Ah!
As Azuka screamed, she ran out of the palace into the forest, never to be seen again. After everything was settled, Mako asked Mma to marry him and she said yes. A big celebration was held in the palace as he welcomed his beloved bride. Uloma threw a tantrum as she thought she was more beautiful than Mma, but the prince didn't marry her. Anyways, his loss. I have always knew Prince Mako did not have eyes for good things. Maybe I should go for Arinze. I think he has eyes for good things than his brother. The maid Ebube is beautiful. I will give her that. But she does not fit him. Maybe I will give it a go. What do you think? The morals of this story. Beauty lies beyond what the physical eyes can see. A pure heart and a courageous spirit are important. It shines through you and others around you. As they say, true love conquers all. Although Makwo and Mma's love was not problematic, but Makwo's support and belief in Mma gave her the strength and a reason to strive for the better. Evil, they say, corrupts the mind and soul. Azuka was doomed for her quest for power and more power, thereby corrupting her mind and sense of reasoning. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share our stories. See you in our next one. Bye. So I can